The River of Dreams. It was a hot summer day in the 100 Acre Wood. The sun was shining so brightly that Winnie the Pooh felt too tired to do anything. He sat under his favorite tree, fanning himself with a leaf, and sighed. Oh, bother! This heat is making me feel sticky, and not the good honey kind of sticky. Just as he was about to close his eyes for a nap, Tigger came bouncing over. Hey there, Pooh Bear! What are you doing just sitting there? Let's go find an adventure, he said with his usual energy. Pooh looked at him, blinking slowly. An adventure sounds nice, Tigger, but it's just too hot. But Tigger wouldn't take no for an answer, so off they went, wandering deeper into the forest. As they walked, the trees grew taller and the air became cooler. Soon, they found something extraordinary, a sparkling river that shimmered like moonlight, even though the sun was still high in the sky. What's this? Pooh asked, tilting his head. I've never seen this river before. Tigger bounced up and down excitedly. It looks magical. Maybe it's filled with honey. Pooh's eyes lit up. Honey? Really? Without thinking, he leaned down and took a sip of the water. Tigger, of course, did the same. And that's when it happened. As soon as they tasted the water, the world around them began to blur. The trees seemed to stretch and twist. The ground beneath them wobbled, and in the blink of an eye, they were no longer in the 100 Acre Wood. Pooh opened his eyes and found himself standing in a meadow where honey jars grew on trees. He was so happy. He started picking them right away. But every time he reached for one, it disappeared. Oh, bother, he said, scratching his head. Meanwhile, Tigger had landed in a completely different place. The ground under his feet was bouncy, like a giant trampoline, and he couldn't stop bouncing higher and higher. Woohoo! This is the best place ever! He shouted, but after a while, he started to miss his friends. Before long, they both discovered that their friends had also entered this strange, magical world. Piglet was floating on a cloud shaped like a balloon, looking very nervous. Oh dear, I don't know how to get down, he squeaked. Don't worry, Piglet, we'll help you, Pooh said. Eeyore, on the other hand, was in a garden filled with gray flowers. He was trying to paint them to make them colorful, but he looked as gloomy as ever. This is a silly thing to do, he mumbled, though he kept painting. Rabbit was in a land made entirely of vegetables, solving puzzles to find his way out. If I solve just one more, I might figure this out, he muttered to himself. After a while, the friends all found their way to the center of this magical world, where a giant shimmering tree stood. Its branches glowed with light, and its voice was soft and kind. You've entered the River of Dreams, it said. This is a world made from your imaginations. To return home, you must work together and unite your dreams. So that's what they did. Pooh imagined a honey bridge to help them cross a river, but it started to melt until his friends helped him make a sturdier one. Tigger had to bounce across a canyon to grab a glowing orb, and everyone cheered him on. Piglet faced his fears by walking through a dark forest, with Pooh holding his hand the whole way. Even Eeyore smiled when his gray flowers suddenly turned into a rainbow of colors. Finally, Rabbit solved the last puzzle, which created a golden key. The shimmering tree told them, "The portal back to your world is opening! But hurry! The river will close at sunrise!" The friends raced to the portal as the dream world began to fade. Piglet tripped along the way, but Eeyore picked him up and carried him. "We're not leaving anyone behind," Eeyore said firmly. Just as the first rays of sunlight appeared, they jumped through the portal and landed back on the riverbank in the 100 Acre Wood. Pooh sat up and rubbed his eyes. Was it all a dream? He wondered. But then he saw Piglet holding one of Eeyore's colorful flowers and Rabbit holding the golden key. It wasn't just a dream after all. As the magical river slowly disappeared, the friends headed back home, talking about their adventure and what they had learned. Dreams can be wonderful, Tigger said, but they're even better with friends. Pooh smiled. And maybe next time there will be more honey. And with that, they all sat down to breakfast, because adventures, even magical ones, always make you hungry. The end.